You may be experiencing heart problems right now and not even realize it. What if I told you that the food you eat could decide whether you age with strength or with pain? For millions of seniors in America, certain everyday foods are silently triggering heart failure, high blood pressure, and even strokes. And no one's warning you, not the experts, not the packaging, not the ads that promised it was good for you. But inside your body, the damage is already building. Every bite makes your heart work harder. Your arteries tighten. Your heartbeat becomes unstable. And the most dangerous part? You feel fine. Until one day, you don't. Cardiologists are seeing it every day. Seemingly healthy seniors collapsing from heart attacks, strokes, or sudden cardiac events. Not because of genetics, not because of age alone, but because of what they were putting on their plate, day after day, without realizing the cost. In this video, we're revealing the 6 most dangerous foods for your heart after 60. Not just unhealthy. We're talking about foods that can seriously raise your risk of high blood pressure, clogged arteries, and even heart failure. Some of them are sitting in your kitchen right now, and most seniors are eating at least 3 of them every single week. So if you care about your heart or about someone you love, do not ignore this list. Let's count down the 6 foods quietly damaging millions of hearts, from risky to truly dangerous. Number 6, processed meats, a daily habit that's damaging your heart. They're in almost every American fridge: ham, bacon, sausages, fast, familiar, and comforting. For many seniors, they've been part of breakfast or lunch for decades. But what most don't realize is that these thin slices carry a heavy price. They're packed with sodium, preservatives, and saturated fats that gradually weaken your cardiovascular system. On the surface, they seem lean, even light, especially compared to a big piece of red meat. But inside your body, they trigger silent inflammation and long-term damage. One of the most dangerous ingredients is the nitrates and nitrites used to preserve these meats. Once inside your system, they can turn into harmful compounds that inflame and scar the walls of your arteries. Over time, that leads to stiffness, restricted blood flow, and increased pressure on your heart. And then there's the salt. Just a few slices of deli meat can contain almost your entire daily sodium limit. This constant overload raises blood pressure, forces your heart to work harder, and increases the risk of stroke and heart failure, especially after 60. The worst part is that it all happens quietly. No pain, no warning. Just a slow buildup of damage until one day something goes wrong, and by then, it's often too late to undo it. If you still want something quick and savory, there are safer choices. Roasted chicken breast, wild-caught fish, or even lentil-based spreads can give you the protein without the risk. They support your heart instead of slowly breaking it down. This isn't about giving up your favorite foods forever. It's about making small, smart changes now, before your heart is the one that gives up. Number 5, white bread and refined carbs, quietly fueling heart disease. They're part of everyday life. Toast in the morning, a soft dinner roll with soup, a bagel or a muffin on the go. For many seniors, refined carbs are so common, they barely register as something to question. They feel light, easy to digest, and familiar. But once they enter your body, they turn into sugar almost instantly. That sudden spike in blood glucose may seem harmless at first, but with every spike comes a crash. And every crash puts stress on your heart and blood vessels. Over time, this up and down roller coaster weakens your arteries, damages their lining, and increases your risk of developing insulin resistance, one of the silent drivers of heart disease in older adults. White bread, white rice, pasta, pastries. They may not taste sweet, but they behave like sugar. And sugar fuels inflammation. That inflammation stiffens arteries, raises blood pressure, and makes it harder for your heart to pump blood efficiently. You might not feel it right away, but slowly, silently, your cardiovascular system begins to suffer. For seniors, this is even more dangerous. As your metabolism slows and your tolerance for sugar drops, these refined carbs become more damaging than ever. And yet, many older adults still reach for white toast thinking it's a gentle choice, when in fact, it's anything but. If you want to protect your heart, one of the easiest first steps is switching to slow-digesting carbohydrates. Whole grain breads, oats, barley, and sprouted grains don't cause the same sugar spikes. They keep your energy stable, support healthy digestion, and ease the pressure on your heart. Small changes like these may not feel dramatic, but inside your body, they're the difference between strain and support, between slow decline and strength. Number 4, flavored yogurts, the silent sugar bombs in your fridge. They look innocent, little plastic cups with strawberries on the label. Bright colors, words like low fat or made with real fruit. It all feels like a healthy choice, especially compared to cake or ice cream. But most flavored yogurts are loaded with sugar. Some have more sugar than a candy bar. And because the texture is smooth and the portion looks small, your brain doesn't even register it as a dessert. You eat it, thinking it's good for you. And your heart pays the price. Excess sugar fuels inflammation. Inflammation stiffens your arteries and makes your blood vessels more reactive. For seniors, that means a higher risk of blood pressure spikes, irregular heart rhythm, and long-term arterial damage. And then there are the light and diet versions. They may skip the sugar, but instead, they're packed with artificial sweeteners, gums, and chemical thickeners. These ingredients confuse your gut, mess with your metabolism, and trigger bloating, fatigue, and mood swings. Not exactly a heart-healthy deal. Many older adults still think yogurt is a safe daily snack. And plain yogurt can be. But the flavored ones? They're designed more like dessert, just dressed up in a health label. If you want to keep yogurt in your routine, go for plain Greek or Icelandic yogurt. Add a few fresh berries, a pinch of cinnamon, or a spoonful of chia for sweetness without the damage. That small shift can turn a hidden threat into a real source of healing. Because when it comes to your heart, it's not just what you eat. It's what you think is safe, when it isn't. Number 3, sugar-free treats. The sweet deception that hurts your heart. It feels like the perfect solution. You want something sweet, but not the sugar crash, not the weight gain, not the guilt. So you reach for the sugar-free option, the one that promises zero sugar, fewer calories, and a smarter choice. It's everywhere now, in cookies, snack bars, yogurts, even chocolate. But what you're not being told is this: sugar-free doesn't mean safe, and it definitely doesn't mean heart-healthy. These products are often filled with artificial sweeteners, synthetic fibers, emulsifiers, and low-quality oils that may do more harm to your heart than the sugar itself ever did. Sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, and acetylsulfame potassium can disrupt your gut bacteria, promote inflammation in blood vessels, and interfere with how your body regulates blood pressure and insulin. And because these snacks don't taste bad, they slip into your routine quietly. One a day becomes 2. You start thinking they're harmless, even helpful. But inside, your heart is dealing with stress it wasn't built to handle. Your arteries don't know the marketing. They only feel the pressure. The most dangerous part, you think you're doing something right. You're not eating cake. You're avoiding soda. You're being good. But the damage is still happening, just in disguise. If you want something sweet, don't fall for the packaging. Go for something real. Whole fruit, dark chocolate, a homemade snack with ingredients you can pronounce. Because your heart doesn't need sugar-free. It needs honesty. Sugar-free doesn't mean safe. It means more chemicals your heart has to process. Number 2, cheese and processed dairy. A silent contributor to heart disease in seniors. Cheese feels safe. It's rich, creamy, and satisfying. For many seniors, it's part of almost every meal. A slice on toast, some shredded cheese on vegetables, a piece with crackers in the evening. It doesn't feel like a threat, but your heart may disagree. Most cheese, especially processed varieties, contains high levels of saturated fat and sodium, the two ingredients most strongly linked to high blood pressure and arterial stiffness. Over time, this combination raises the bad kind of cholesterol, promotes plaque buildup, and makes it harder for your heart to circulate blood efficiently. Processed cheese is the worst offender. Individually wrapped slices, cheese spreads, and shelf-stable cheese snacks are often made with emulsifiers, additives, and synthetic dairy components. These not only reduce nutritional value, they also increase inflammatory stress inside the body. Even small daily portions add up. If you're already dealing with elevated cholesterol or blood pressure, that extra sodium and saturated fat quietly pushes your cardiovascular system closer to crisis. You don't feel it in the moment, but it's there, making your arteries less flexible and your heartbeat work harder. This doesn't mean cheese has to disappear completely, but it does mean being selective. Switching to lower sodium options like part-skim mozzarella, feta, or small portions of goat cheese can reduce the burden. And treating cheese as an occasional flavor, not a food group, may be one of the simplest ways to protect your heart without giving up what you love. Number 1. Refined vegetable oils, the most dangerous ingredient you still use daily. Few people think twice about the oil they cook with. It's often seen as neutral, something that just helps prepare food, not something that affects health on its own. But for older adults, regularly consuming refined vegetable oils may be one of the most dangerous habits for the heart. Oils like soybean, corn, sunflower, and canola are heavily processed. They're stripped of their natural nutrients, exposed to high heat and chemicals during production, and often left with residues and unstable fat structures. More importantly, they're extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids, and that's where the real problem begins. While omega-6 is an essential fat in small amounts, the modern diet provides far too much of it, especially when these oils are used daily in cooking or hidden in packaged foods. When omega-6 intake is out of balance with omega-3, which is already low in most diets, the result is a pro-inflammatory environment inside the body. And chronic inflammation is no longer just a vague concept. It's now understood to be a driving force behind heart disease. For someone over 60, whose blood vessels may already be less elastic and more prone to plaque buildup, this inflammation can quietly accelerate damage. It can contribute to the development of arterial stiffness, encourage the formation of small clots, and reduce the body's ability to regulate blood pressure and cholesterol effectively. The effects aren't always easy to trace back. You might notice more fatigue, slower recovery from exercise, or changes in cholesterol numbers, but the connection to cooking oil rarely comes to mind. Meanwhile, the inflammatory response continues in the background, quietly compromising the cardiovascular system. These oils are also found in most processed and packaged foods, crackers, chips, baked goods, even so-called health snacks, which means many older adults are consuming them multiple times per day without realizing it. Replacing refined vegetable oils with cold-pressed alternatives like extra virgin olive oil or small amounts of avocado oil isn't just a nutritional upgrade. It's a protective shift. One that reduces inflammatory pressure on the heart, supports healthier cholesterol balance, and contributes to overall vascular stability. For aging hearts, small changes in the kitchen can lead to significant protection over time, and few changes are more impactful than choosing the right oil. When it comes to protecting your heart after 60, the details matter more than ever. It's not just about avoiding fast food or cutting back on salt. It's about understanding how everyday foods, even the ones that seem harmless, quietly affect your cardiovascular health. Processed meats, flavored yogurts, cheese, and yes, even the oils you cook with. Individually, these foods may not seem alarming, but together and over time, they create a pattern of inflammation, pressure, and stress that the aging heart can't always handle. And because the symptoms don't show up right away, the damage is often well underway before anyone realizes it. The good news, it's not too late to make a change. Small, consistent adjustments, replacing processed foods with whole ones, reading labels more carefully, choosing heart-friendly oils, can make a real difference. Your body still responds to care, and your heart, even after decades of hard work, still has the power to heal, adapt, and protect you. If this video helped you understand what's really behind silent heart stress, consider subscribing to Senior Health Guide and turning on notifications. Because this kind of information isn't always easy to find, but it might be exactly what someone needs to hear. And let me know in the comments, have you been eating any of these without realizing the risk? Which one surprised you the most? Until next time, take care and keep your heart strong.